Hello, welcome to Luminousz Star. Today's video is how to break the Narcissist Abracadabra Code. For all of my stars, thank you so much for your subscription and for motivating me as well as inspiring me to keep this channel Luminousz Star active. Everyone who is visiting for the first time, welcome to Luminousz Star. And if you would please go down and hit that subscription button, that will mean that you will become a part of the Star family. And we would love to have you, of course. Again, today's video is how to break the Narcissist Abracadabra Code. Please mind the description box below for further details. Please like and share the video. First point, the narcissist and those with a cluster B personality have a false self-image to maintain. Therefore, he or she will pull a lot of shenanigans in the form of deception in order to obtain source supply. The narcissist and the cluster B personality, they show no shame when it comes to the shenanigans and the tactics for source supply. He or she has a false self-image to maintain. They're loyal to the false self-image. The narcissist and the cluster B personality, they tend to not think about the consequences of their actions. They tend to blame other people even for how they feel and their behavior. So the consequences don't apply to the narcissist or the cluster B personality. A few of the many purposes that the narcissist's false self-image serves is a false sense of control, confidence, and identity. When the narcissist is nice, he or she is not sincerely being kind. He or she has to be a master manipulator in order to successfully keep sources of supply plentiful. The narcissist and the cluster B personality, they do not want to run out of supply, ever. The narcissist and the cluster B personality, see, they have no problem attracting people. They have no problem starting relationships. Their relationships, however, tend to be quite volatile and toxic and very dysfunctional. So they know how to keep people around them in order to have plenty of source supply. It's just that they don't have meaningful, lasting, and long relationships. He or she doesn't know how to have healthy relationships because they don't do healthy relationships. So the many purposes of the narcissist's false self-image is a sense of control, a false sense of control, a false sense of confidence and identity. The key word is false. So they have a false self-image, which links them to a false identity. They tend to be a chameleon, so they can switch up at any time. And when they tap into the energy fields of others, they tend to mimic and hijack the identities of others. So how real can the narcissist be? Let's move forward. Narcissists and those with a cluster B personality study targeted prey and those who they have tagged as primary sources of supply in order to mimic and hijack identities of each at will for various reasons in order to maintain supply for a lifetime. Unfortunately, the consequences of his or her actions does not matter due to loyalty to their false self-image. The narcissist and the cluster B personality, their primary sources of supply tend to be their families, their marriage partners, their sexual partners, and those who they see as their closest friends. But they use the words friends loosely. Narcissists and cluster B personality, they do tend to have primary sources of supply. However, this does not mean that they sincerely love other people. They have vowed not to love anyone. So they tend to see other people as game pieces on a game board that they can maneuver at will. Dysfunctional relationships serve as a means to an end. The narcissist and the cluster B personality has a fixed personality disorder, along with the nature of a predator. It is very slim chance that he or she will change, regardless of those who may or who have tried to convince them to do so. It is a waste of time to try to convince the narcissist and the cluster B personality that they must change in order to have a relationship with them. The narcissist and the cluster B personality, they tend to have a predatory nature. They have a personality disorder that is very fixed. It is very slim chance to none that he or she will change. So My suggestion is don't waste your time and don't waste your energy. Unfortunately, many have been traumatized, duped, hurt, and mistreated by the narcissist and or cluster B personality with no real answers as to how and or why it all happened. The narcissist and the cluster B personality has an abracadabra code that is very hard to detect, yet alone break. Many have yet to understand that it is the false self-image of the narcissist who has created the Abracadabra Code. They have a system of trickery that only boggles the mind and can chill the soul. It has often been said that the narcissist and cluster B personality doesn't have a soul. I've actually heard some people refer to them as demons. The narcissist's behavior does seem to suggest that he or she may be influenced, if not possessed, by the devil. Well, everybody will perceive differently. They will have different opinions about this. It's debatable. But the bottom line is this. The cluster B personality has a personality disorder that is very fixed. This also means that many who come in contact with him or her will more than likely not be able to figure him or her out. The narcissist and the cluster B personality, they tend to be masterminds at trickery. So this is very often why a lot of people are just duped, they're hurt, they're just devastated by how they have been treated by the narcissist and the cluster B personality. Some people have been traumatized, and it takes them a long time to work past the issues of having been involved with the narcissist and cluster B personality. Many have attempted only to be caught in another trap set out by the narcissist. Most narcissists become seasoned vets and pros as he or she continues to play others out of their finances, resources, and if possible, out of their very minds. The narcissist never runs out of his or her trick bag of shenanigans and diabolical tactics for source supply. Years often go by before many of the narcissist's source suppliers get even a hint of how they have been played. The mind of the narcissist more than likely will remain a mystery for most. However, for those who dare to remain emotionally invested in a dysfunctional relationship with him or her may face the cost, which proves to be too high. The narcissist and or cluster B personality has so many smoke screens that he or she has convinced themselves that the life that they live is not a lie and that all are worthy of their deep contempt. All tactics for sources of supply are justifiable to the narcissist. So anything goes. As far as like the narcissist and the cluster B personality is concerned, anything goes as long as at the end of the day, their false self-image rules. Just as long as they have maintained sources of supply, the narcissist cares nothing about the consequences. It is for all cost. They don't care. So most people who try to figure out the narcissist and the cluster B personality, sometimes they are driven right up the wall. Some people go bonkers trying to figure these people out. So my suggestion is don't even try. The mind of the narcissist more than likely will remain a mystery for most for a very long time. I again say, don't waste your time. Don't waste your energy. The narcissist and the cluster B personality, they tell so many lies that they believe them. Not only do they convince you of the lies, but they believe their own lies. And every individual is worthy only of their contempt. Again, everything and all goes just as long as the narcissist at the end of the day has their sources of supply and that their false self-image is surviving. All right, let's go ahead and look at some of the abracadabra codes of narcissists. First code: if the narcissist is pursued for validation, explanation, or apologies, he or she will not ever take responsibility for their behavior, emotions, and words. Second code: the narcissist apologizes only if they will appear to be saints, martyrs, or victim to outsiders. Okay, so as long as the narcissist looks good, if they apologize to anyone, again, it is only to sustain their source supply. This means that the false self-image will survive and rule at the end of the day. If the narcissist looks good to outsiders by apologizing to you, that's what they're going to do. The apology will not be sincere. Third code. The narcissist has taken a secret vow to never love anyone anymore for any reason. Therefore, will take delight in watching others twist themselves into a pretzel in hopes that he or she can win the heart, approval, and loyalty of the narcissist. All right, next code. Narcissists remain unapologetically fixed, defiant, resistant, unforgiving, and spiteful, with seduction and charisma. So on one hand, they may seem very charming and pleasant and loving and all these other type of things that we love in a relationship, but on the other, behind the scenes, in secret, the narcissist is really trying to tear other people's spirits down. This is often why a lot of people are devastated after the relationship with the narcissist is over. They're devastated. They can't believe that anyone has treated them the way that they were treated. The narcissist can be very cold and very cutthroat. A lot of people are not ready. Okay, they're not very used to something like that, which none of us ought to be used to anything like that. However, the narcissist and the cluster personality, they tend to be predatory in nature. So when they strike, most people are not only not ready, but they are devastated and even traumatized after the fact. Next code. Narcissists exploit others for their capacity to empathize, love, forgive, and express emotions. Okay, this one is pretty self-explanatory, so let's move on to the next code. Narcissists seem to prefer negative attention. Therefore, he or she feeds off of the energy fields of those who become reactionary. Narcissists drink the tears of others while eating a pound of his or her flesh. The narcissist and cluster personality show no shame when they tap into the energy fields of others. They have a predatory nature. The narcissist is on survival mode 100. Okay? 100% of the time, 24/7, they are in survival mode. They have to eat. That means when they tap into the energy fields of others, they drink the tears of others and they take a pound of his or her flesh. Let's move on. The summary of the Abracadabra Codes of the narcissist is as follows. Remain relentless, removed, and resistant in the face of any and every sign of humanity, demonstrating a higher vibration of consciousness at all cost. So in summary, the shenanigans, the tactics for source supply, the diabolical acts, you can sum it up right here. Let's move on to the tools. Tool number 1, take steps to learn the nature of narcissists without attempting to make any sense of what his or her motives may be. This one is a tough one because, again, the narcissists tend to be quite mysterious, but not so much in a good way. All right, so take steps to learn all you can. Educate yourself. Do the research. Okay, it's a little bit tough, but more than likely you will not regret it. So take some time out, study and research a little bit more about this topic. Again, their nature tend to be predatory. So without trying to figure out their motives, you're saving yourself a lot of grief. Just do the research, understand that he or she has a predatory nature, and try not to figure them out. There's really nothing else to figure out. Second tool, guard your heart at all times. This also means guarding your energy field, minding your energy field. So practice mindfulness. So by guarding your heart at all times, this means that you're practicing self-preservation, personal boundaries. You can even go ahead and start practicing assertion. This may help a lot. The cluster personality, they cannot tap into the energy field of those who tend to practice personal boundaries, self-preservation, emotional discipline, and assertion. So guard your heart at all times when dealing with the narcissist and or cluster B personality. Last tool, take off the rose-colored glasses, meaning do not idealize the narcissist and the cluster B personality. Stop idealizing the dysfunctional relationship with him or her, and stop idealizing the narcissist and the cluster B personality. They're showing you who they are. And I understand that sometimes it hurts, some of the things that they say. Sometimes some people are really put off by the narcissist and cluster B personality. But the bottom line is this: they have a particular type of nature. They have a disorder. It's a personality disorder. There's really not much more to figure out than that. It is a game changer, okay? It definitely is a game changer when you start to educate yourself and when you start to practice self-preservation in order to thrive forward. The narcissist and cluster B personality, they are not worthy of any of your time. And I certainly hope you think that they're not worthy of your life. I want to thank everybody for joining me today or tonight, wherever you may be. I'm Luminousz Star. Stay tuned for more videos.